Lady Stoneheart being cut from Game of Thrones is maybe one of the first indications of just how much the writers plan to cut and change from the source material. Leading into the final episodes of Season 3, after the high of the Red Wedding, there was a lot of fans who believed there would be some kind of tease about Lady Stoneheart, maybe a post-credits scene or something to that effect. I always thought they could just have a shot of her body being pulled from the Green Fork by Nymeria, or something like that. This way the mystery would have been preserved a little bit longer, but would also have been a little nod to the book fans. But when there was not so much of a hint of Stoneheart, people just assumed that meant they were saving it for the end of Season 4. Would have been adapted in the second half of A Storm of Swords, so there didn't seem to be a need to panic at that point. But as we know, Season 4 came and went, and no Lady Stoneheart, and it was now many fans did just accept she was cut, as bewildering as that might have seemed at the time. Characters had of course been cut from the TV adaptation before, and it's a normal part of the process of bringing a book to screen. But Lady Stoneheart, for many fans, was seen as a vital part of the story and one of the most unexpected plot twists, and especially when you consider how she later interacts with Jaime and Brienne by the end of A Feast for Crows. This wasn't a minor character by any means, and looking back now, Lady Stoneheart not being included could be seen as an early sign of how much book content was going to be cut Series 4 onwards. But the truth of the matter is, while many fans were disappointed, we have to look at the issue through the lens of time. Thus far, Series 1 to 4 have been very solid in the terms of writing, and fans still had faith the show was heading down the right path. In essence, we were in what I would consider to be the golden era of the show. It's only looking back after the show's writing quality started to decline that Lady Stoneheart being cut starts to stand out as a huge red flag. But who is Lady Stoneheart, and why is she so beloved by fans? Well, effectively, Lady Stoneheart is what is left of Catelyn Stark after her death at the Red Wedding. The very important aspect of this idea is Stoneheart is what is left of her. She's the shell of the woman Catelyn Stark was. After her throat is slit by Raymond Frey at the Red Wedding, the Freys dump Catelyn's body, stripped naked, into the Green Fork as a mockery of House Tully's funeral custom. By this point, Catelyn has been dead for a day and a night. 3 days after her death, Catelyn's corpse is retrieved from the Green Fork by Arya Stark's lost direwolf, Nymeria, who runs away when humans approach. This group is in fact the Brotherhood Without Banners, led by Beric Dondarrion. As we know, Beric was first killed facing the Mountain's men at the Battle of the Mummers Ford, trying to capture the mountain, as ordered by Eddard Stark before his death, during the brief time he sat the Iron Throne as Hand of the King. Thoros of Myr then resurrects Beric with the power of R'hllor, the Red God, via the Last Kiss. This in turn resurrected Beric. Beric would fall in battle numerous times, each being brought back by Thoros, but every time he died, part of him was lost until he started to become a shell of his former self. Beric's memories became impaired, having forgotten details about his life, his castle, and the woman he was pledged to marry. Having found Catelyn's body, Beric asked Thoros to try resurrecting her, but Thoros refuses, stating that she'd been dead for too long. Beric passes on his flame of life, keeping her alive with the Last Kiss, causing Beric to die his last death. Before her resurrection, Catelyn Stark's body was in poor condition, given she had been dead for days, and due to her corpse being submerged in river water for a large period of time. I once again teamed up with Flexispot, who sent me the XL3 electric sofa with built-in motorized reclining, massager and heating, perfect for all your at-home entertainment room needs. Over the last 10 years, I've had 5 reclining chairs, mostly brought from eBay, and they did a job for a while, but after 6 months, screws would start to strip when leaning back, the leather would crack, and the wooden legs would start to warp. But that's not the case with the Flexispot XL3. It's made very well, and no screws were needed in the assembly. Everything just slides together. It fits in even small rooms like my own entertainment room, and most important, it's a chair built to last. But the extra features are really what make the difference. The motorized reclining is smooth, the massage function is surprisingly powerful, and well, I can't get my dog off it because he loves the heating function. You can get your own XL3 sofa by following the link below. Flexispot are currently still running their Valentine's Day sale, where you can get up to 45% off products from across their catalogue. Once again, thanks to Flexispot for supporting the channel and allowing me to keep making videos. Her flesh had become soft as pudding and turned the colour of curdled milk, with grain-green mottling and brown blooms of decay. Half of her hair had gone, and the rest is white, dry and brittle. Her eyes looked like 2 red pits, burning in the shadows. Additionally, her wounds have not healed. Her face is shredded from her deep, self-inflicted scratches before her death, hanging in ragged strips from her eyes to her jaw, either crusted with dry blood or gaping open to reveal the bone beneath. Her throat is still slit open. To speak, she must pinch closed her slashed throat. Even then, her voice is difficult to understand, sounding like a combination of a croak, wheeze, and death rattle. This new Catelyn Stark is a very different woman. Now consumed with desire for vengeance over her family's betrayal and murder, she assumes command of Beric's outlaw band, the Brotherhood Without Banners, and leads them in a merciless pursuit, executing everyone she considers a Lannister or Frey collaborator, among them Peter and Merritt Frey at Oldstones. She hangs any man associated with the Freys, Boltons or Lannisters, even if they had no involvement in the Red Wedding, or if they were just boys. During the events as seen in A Feast for Crows, a cloaked and hidden woman is spoken of in the vicinity of Fairmarket and Hagsmere, but she vanishes into the net when pursued by Black Walder Frey. There are also tales of a woman called Stoneheart, leading a band of outlaws, different to the ones of Beric's Brotherhood. According to one story, she was hanged by the Freys but revived by Beric, and that now the two were lovers who could not die. However, as we know the truth of the matter, it is very different. She is also known by many other names: the Silent Sister, Mother Merciless, the Hangwoman. While leading the Brotherhood, Stoneheart's outlaws come across a small party led by Brienne of Tarth, who insists she is searching for Sansa at the behest of Jaime Lannister. Thoros reveals to Brienne that Beric's Brotherhood has been broken, using a young Northman as her interpreter. Stoneheart says that Brienne has turned traitor, as she carries Oathkeeper, a Lannister sword forged from the Stark Valyrian steel blade, Ice. Brienne swears she is still faithful, but Stoneheart insists she must prove it by killing Jaime Lannister. Brienne refuses, stating that Jaime has changed, but Stoneheart says she must choose, either kill Jaime or be hanged herself. Brienne refuses to choose. Just before she, Hal Hunt, and Podrick Payne are to be executed, however, Brienne shouts out a word, believed to be sword. While at Pennytree, Jaime Lannister then receives an unexpected visit from Brienne of Tarth. She tells him that she has found Sansa, who is a day's ride away. She claims to Jaime, however, that he must go with her alone, or else the Hound will kill the girl. It is believed that Brienne will lead Jaime to Stoneheart, and until we see the Winds of Winter, that is all we currently know of Lady Stoneheart's story. So the main question of this video was why Lady Stoneheart was cut from the show. Now, fans have actually speculated for a long time, and correctly so, that the reason the resurrected Catelyn was cut from the show is because it would ruin the plot twist regarding Jon's assassination and his own resurrection. The idea is if a viewer knows the likes of Catelyn can come back, it makes Jon's resurrection too obvious. What is important to note is that as of now, in the books, we don't know for sure Jon will be coming back. While we can fairly conclusively conclude that in the book he will, until we get the Winds of Winter, we can't say for 100% certainty. Yes, when I read the book for the first time, I never believed Jon was 100% dead forever, as there was so much foreshadowing before it in regards to his resurrection, but until we see it in print, it's not truly part of the story yet. This is why one of the first instances where the book fans would be going into the show 100% blind to the events to come is an idea the writers wanted to preserve by removing Stoneheart. But in reality, their logic is inherently flawed, as the existence of Beric has already informed viewers resurrection in this world is in fact possible. But this reasoning for cutting Stoneheart, inherently flawed or not, has been confirmed by the showrunners, David Benioff and D.B. Weiss. In fact, we know that when they proposed the idea to cut Lady Stoneheart from the show, George R.R. Martin was deeply opposed to it, but in the end he had to let the showrunners, run the show. In the book, Fire Cannot Kill a Dragon, the showrunners have talked about their decision to remove Lady Stoneheart. They confirmed the long-held fan belief that they were worried that the show's resurrection of Catelyn would give away Jon's later. They also made an artistic argument for it as well, namely that they were so happy with the Red Wedding and its horrified reactions that they didn't want to weaken the impact of it by bringing back a character who died in the event. As someone who worked in screenwriting and studied it, I actually can understand this artistic side of the argument somewhat, but for me, that does not take away with how inherently flawed the logic of cutting Stoneheart to keep Jon's resurrection a secret is when Beric exists in the show and continued to exist in the show. What do you think about Lady Stoneheart being cut? And what do you think her role in the Winds of Winter could be?